This is the Nasdaq, right? So everybody knows that some some American stocks list when they IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. Others are on the Nasdaq, and that's interesting. It's a similar situation, similar platform. They own that. They've attempted to merge at some point. That was blocked. So this company has a market capitalization under the code NDAQ listed on its own exchange of $12.6 billion, price earnings ratio of 59, dividend yield of 2%. I guess we can be brief. What is the distinguishing factor here? Less of those other things and more equities?
The distinguishing factor for me on the Nasdaq was this idea that they have exposure in Europe in the sense that they actually own a lot of European stock exchanges, but the ones that we don't really talk about.
Yes, so like Vilnius and bloody...
Yeah, so the Copenhagen Stock Exchange, whatever it's called, the Icelandic Stock Exchange, the Armenian Stock Exchange.
Wow, that's a big one.
I think the one in Finland and the one in Sweden as well.
That's pretty cool though. I mean, you know,
so
that's a shopping trip to
that's great diversification, and it gives them a really good exposure to the European market. Back home in America, the Nasdaq is well known as an exchange where a lot of tech companies list. For example, the ill-fated Facebook listing, where unfortunately the Nasdaq didn't do too well with.
Yeah, they had some glitches there, although it's since rallied so well that in effect it's become a massive success.
Basically forgotten. I don't know, for me, looking at the Nasdaq, it was one of the more uninteresting ones, actually. I didn't feel excited about it. What I think will happen on the Nasdaq, to be frank with you, is that it's the perfect size to actually merge with somebody else. And I think that's what they're really fighting for. And that's what you're seeing in offshore markets with these exchanges. They're actually merging together rather than splitting apart, where all these regulations coming in to try and split them apart. So,
and it would make sense. I mean, they've got some nice presence. They've got the Nasdaq Markets site on Times Square. Everybody goes there. And what it would do is it would be reminding competitors authorities that it's not important. Equities is only one small part of the total mix.
Yes.
So get over yourselves.
Correct,
and get cracking.
correct. There's much more to it than that.
So it sounds as though you're...
I didn't see where they were going to go through and where the growth was really going to come in. So I'm not going to just be positive on all of these for the sake of it. I think the Nasdaq, for me, I was disinterested. So I would be not hot on that at the moment.
Let's say not hot on that one and keep the pace up.